Calling for head coach Kitty Conover, student athletes Emma Sullivan, and Kendall Frestel. Coach, if you wouldn't mind just opening with a general statement on the game.
The game went. I expected it to be a competitive game, and that's exactly what it was. And, it certainly didn't go our way, but, I don't want to focus on the negative when there were so many awesome moments and so many positive to kind of rest our hat on.
Coach, talk us through some of those positives. What stood out as those bright spots for you in this game? But this has been about as magical a season as Stonehill has had in a decade and a half. So even though this is an unceremonious end, talk about those positives. What stood out to you?
I think our groups can adjust and they can fight, and that hasn't changed. I mean, that's the way it went all game long, and they know how to compete. And that game was competitive until the very last possession. And, they've been like that all year. They've been like that every day in practice and every day in meetings. And that's how you get wins, is competing every day. And, they certainly didn't give up today. They kept competing.
What was the challenge against them defensively, just to kind of, is it a matter of just trying to get them in transition before they can kind of set up? What was kind of, what were you kind of looking at to attack?
Defensively, the main goal was really just to have lockdown 1v1 defense so that help didn't need to crash. And then, because they are really good at cutting and backdoor cuts. And so the key was just to have lockdown 1v1 so no one would need to help. But they're just a great team, and they're great feeders, and they can really connect. And
Kendall, obviously you had success on the free positions to kind of get the offense kind of going, keep it going. Is that kind of, you've had so much success on those free positions all season. You just, you must look forward to those a little bit.
Yeah, definitely look forward to those. But I think our offense today just moved the ball really well from the start of the game. And in some of our previous games, we were more of a second half, coming out stronger in the second half, and I think today we did a good job coming out strong offensively in the first half. Obviously it was challenging, but we were moving the ball fast, and we're really just trying to get the open looks.
What makes it so hard to beat Adelphi on draw controls? You're a team that prides themselves on that, and so are they. What was so difficult about winning those draws today? Each one was a battle.
yeah, their girls are pretty strong. They're tall. Me and Victoria were pretty short girls. But yeah, every ball was kind of a 50-50 ground ball, and if it wasn't going towards us, they mostly got it. So it was just a tough battle.
When you look back at this season, I know that losing always hurts, but you guys won so many games in so many different ways with so many different players. We heard Coach talk about some of the positives that she takes away. What positives do you two take away, not only from this season, but some pretty illustrious careers at Stonehill College?
I'm just really proud of everyone on this team. Every game we played with all our heart, no matter who we were playing. I just couldn't be prouder of everyone on the team.
Yeah, we were just talking in the locker room, and we're all saying I don't think I've ever liked lacrosse more in my life because of how much of a family Stonehill lacrosse has been this year. We say every day, we just try to play for each other, all or none, and I think we really stuck by that until the last second on the clock today.
Coach, you've got two seniors here who, had a big game today, and, you couldn't ask any more from them heading out. Just talk about that group and what these two put on the field for you guys today and all year long.
Yeah, you become so connected to your players year to year, and by the time they're seniors, you feel like, you feel like you know them so well. It's not even about wanting them to play well. I mean, they kind of take care of that part, but you just, you want them to win so bad. You want to give them all the things that they want, and, these kids have made it easy. They're kind, they're smart, they work hard, they build each other up, they take care of me. They're just, I couldn't ask for a better group.
As far as what comes next, obviously it's been a lot of transition with all of the different players and the COVID situation, and now the transition out of the Northeast 10 to the Division I level, which is another unknown for Stonehill. Obviously, this one will sting for a bit, but how, looking forward, what's next for Stonehill making that jump, and for you leading that group into uncharted waters?
I mean, the timing of the season is pretty perfect, I have to say that, to give us, these guys have worked so hard, and we've always had a really strong team culture, but I don't think it's ever really been stronger. And, don't sniff at the NE10, because it's, we've figured out, when you can figure out how to compete here, I think you can kind of transition that to compete anywhere. And Stonehill Women's Lacrosse is up for the challenge for sure.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Since this whole thing started, Stonehill's a good team, and we had to play our best. And we entered this weekend, knowing that we had not played our best. We've been good at times, but we were just kind of in search of really good performances and, walking off the field proud with our effort and proud with our execution. And that's kind of what we talked about, making little plays and doing one thing at a time. And we did it pretty well today. But they're really good, and when you play against a team like that, they don't go away. So while you feel like you're playing well and you feel like you're controlling the flow of the game, it gets very difficult when they're just 2 possessions away from putting 2 in the goal, and they're gonna make plays because they're talented and they're tough. But our kids answered every run they made, and I just the execution we showed offensively at the end of quarters I thought was amazing. So we're built with defense, and again, we talked about it. Timely scoring is really important, and I think our scoring was, the timing of it was well placed, and the commitment to what we do and the energy and effort we put in on both ends of the field, I think gives us a chance anytime we step on the field. And I'm just, couldn't be more proud of this group. These 3 are special. So in so many different ways. You have 2 people here who have been here from beginning to end, and then you have Emily who kind of walks in the 11th hour, but she's been a breath of fresh air. And these kids' attitude and their effort are great. They're leaders on this team. They're people who make days like today possible.
Just obviously today started with the draw. I mean, they're a team that builds their offense off of just winning draws. They can get some runs going on teams just by keeping the ball. And you guys obviously 22 to whatever it was on the draw.
And the draw numbers, the draws, I have them here, but it was 20 to 8. I didn't see that coming, but I didn't see that draw performance against Lemoyne either. I didn't see that coming. I thought we'd grind it out and we'd be good, but we were dominant. And today we were dominant, and that's a good group on the draw for them. Those 3 kids are really good at it. They're tough. They're competitive. They're athletic. And I know we're all those things as well. But I just think that we came out, and we got a unique situation on the draw. We have Christina Callinsrud, who is a really good player and does a lot of things for us. And then you can throw Kellyanne McGrath in there, and then you can throw Casey Dugan out there. Casey Dugan is really almost like the draw coach of this team, right? So she's a 6th-year kid. She doesn't get enough opportunity because Christina Callinsrud is such a good player and does so much for us. And then Kellyanne's next. But whenever things are going our way or they're not going our way, Casey Dugan is the one on the sideline who's walking through things with them, whether it's practice or after practice or during games. So that's really, for us, I think is the important thing, is from top to bottom, our roster, everybody's finding a way to make a contribution. And Casey Dugan got a chance to get out on the field today, and she was really good when she got out there too.
You talk about your team's based on your defense, and when everyone talks about Adelphi, it's defense, defense, defense. But the biggest play in the game, last 2 minutes, an offensive score. And like you said, at the end of each quarter, felt like it was an offensive score. What's it like to kind of finally see the offense get a little bit more of the recognition alongside this vaunted defense that has gotten all the accolades all season long?
In this time of year, I've said it before, you just need one more than the other guy. So, if we needed to get 12 or 13, I thought this would be a more high-scoring game. I did, because they're really good offensively, but our defense was so good. And their defense did a good job today, too. We work on things throughout the year. You saw one today that was a big one for us late. We don't do a lot of it as the season's moving along, but we prepare ourselves for moments like this. We prepare them, and they embrace it, and they make plays. So a lot of the kind of late execution is just sticking with it and continuing to work. And when you score a goal with 5, 6 seconds left on a shot clock, that's really about perseverance. Sticking with the plan, sticking with the movement and the timing, and the spacing, and that's what happens. Offensively and defensively, and I talk about it a lot, who's going to break down first? 90 seconds is a long time. So are we going to throw the ball away and turn it over, or are they going to break down? And the longer we play and the longer we move the ball and the longer we move ourselves, the odds are they're going to make a misstep. And fortunately for us, 13 times today, we lasted longer than them.
And then for the players, obviously, Kaylee, Alex, you guys have been here before. You guys have won national titles, and you talk about Emily stepping in. Does knowing that this is what Adelphi does when it comes to these big moments in NCAA tournaments, you have a habit and a tradition of winning these games when the moment gets big, regardless of what's happened before early in the season, does that give you guys a lift knowing that Adelphi Lacrosse wins these games?
I think it does help a little bit mentally, but we also always remember that we get to wear this jersey. We earned it, so we have to prove it, and we have to show that it's not just because we're in this jersey, it's because we're also very good athletes and lacrosse players. Obviously, knowing that we've done it before definitely helps, but going forward, it's really just showing what we got.
I think also having people on the team that have been through it before and lifting the other players up and showing them what it's like to be in these big games is something really special and something that helps push our other players, and just knowing that we work hard every day for this, and it's not just because we wear Adelphi, like that this is handed to us, like this is our hard work.
I think growing up, like I would always come to Adelphi games watching my older sister, so I have seen, growing up, I've seen this culture, and I just feel really grateful to be a part of it now, and just see where it could take us.
And where do you think that can take you? Obviously, you're going to go against a team that you've never played before in the Midwest. So, but we know Adelphi fans travel well; they travel like the best. What is going to be your approach, both from a coaching perspective and from a playing perspective, over the next week to prepare for the Final Four?
I think as a player perspective, sticking together as a team, staying to what we do is going to be really important for us.
It's kind of the theme. We worry a lot more about ourselves than we do about other people. We'll watch film and we'll prepare and we'll, pick little things out. But in the end, our defense does what our defense does, and our offense does what our offense does. And with the way we've been on the draw the last two games, if we can get that many more possessions than the opponent and just keep grinding it out, I think we'll be okay.
And we just talk about 6 points for you today, 5 goals and an assist, and just talk about that attack unit for you guys, and what was your mentality today going? Obviously, they could score them in bunches. Did you guys kind of feel like you needed to be able to keep up with them, or what was your approach, I guess?
Well, I think just to go off what Pat said, I think we go into every game really focused on what we can control offensively. We have weapons, any given day, it could be any of us scoring goals and assists and contributing in that way. I think that's what makes us so dangerous in that sense, is it could come from any one of us, attack or midfielders. And I think just recognizing, your matchups and the situation that you're in, and then, going for it and taking those chances.
I mean, the tradition's the tradition for you guys, but every year is different. Just talk about each one of you. Just the opportunity ahead, and I mean, it can never get old. Like
it doesn't get old. I say it the way I like to describe it is that a team is like a person. It has a personality. It has different character traits, and every team's different. So the uniform is the same, but the kids are different, and they're different as freshmen than they are as seniors. So even as they evolve as people. Alex is a different player now. Kaylee's a different player now than they were when they got to campus. And to watch them grow and develop into leaders and important people. So it's nice to say, hey, we're Adelphi and we're good, but it changes all the time. And the attitude and the mission are the same, but the people are different, the characteristics are different, the talent level, the skill, the skill sets are different. So it's very exciting. I like to go through this. It's the most gratifying thing for me, because you just watch people evolve and you watch them mature and grow. And I think today and this weekend was a really good example of our, improving maturity as a team. So like for me, we're never the same team in September or even April or March than we are in May. And I think we're peaking at the right time, and it's just part of the growth. It's part of them you know, just getting better and smarter and more committed and starting to realize their potential. So the end result is always the same as far as what we want, but the way we get there and the people that do it and the way we arrive, they're always different.
And the student athletes obviously just take, you know, the same thing, just the opportunity that continues.
I would agree with that because, I mean, I've been here for 5 years and no team's the same. You could have the same starting lineup from year to year, but the players that are on the sideline, the people who you're going against, everything's different. So yes, we still have that mentality, but every year the ride's different to get there.
Yeah, I would agree. I think you're just on different teams every year. Well, for me, you know, I'm on a new team.
Obviously.
This is a whole new team, and I think that the culture and the environment that these girls have created these past couple of years is so inclusive and welcoming. And it just makes it so much fun to go out to practice every day. I'm so happy we have a whole nother week of lacrosse. And it's just really exciting stuff. It's the stuff that you grow up hoping and wishing to become, and then it's just kind of surreal to be in this situation right now.
I agree with everything they're saying, but just one thing I wanted to add was having a new team each year. It's so exciting to get to play with new people too, and getting to see who steps up to the plate and how we all bond and mesh and work together and just go through it all together, kind of.
And this is just kind of a question for anybody. You obviously don't necessarily control who you play, but your only 2 losses this season were Lemoyne and Stonehill. In order to get to this Final Four, you got to beat Lemoyne and Stonehill. Does that give you that a little bit of an additional edge, knowing that the only 2 losses that you had all this season have been avenged, or whatever you want to say? You had to go through those teams again to get where you are today.
Feels pretty good. The truth of the matter is I'm disappointed we don't get to play Stonehill ever again. I think this is a good team. Katie's a good coach. They come out prepared. They play hard. You know, they play with class and you know, integrity. So that part of it for us, we talked about it as coaches earlier. You know, it's disappointing we don't get to play them again. But it's nice to avenge losses. But in the end, the idea is just to survive and advance.
Well, congratulations on the great weekend for you guys, and best of luck next week and win number 10.
Thank you very much,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thanks for everything through the weekend. We appreciate it.